So this video will be in two parts: songwriting and production. So songwriting involves writing some lyrics and composing a melody for the lyrics and setting that in a musical framework, which for the purposes of this video will be some simple chords in the same key as the melody. Now, once the lyrics and the melody are written, a demo is made, and that's essentially the songwriting process over. That's what's credited to the songwriters, and that's where the copyright lies. Any additions to that are included in the arrangement, which is part of the production. Production involves the recording, the mixing, and the mastering. In the professional recording world, a producer takes the demo into a recording studio, gets a vocalist to sing the song and a bunch of session musicians to play all the instruments. And then all those individual tracks are mixed to get the balance right. That's an opportunity to add effects such as reverb and echo, and indeed in some cases with the singer some pitch correction. When the song is mixed, it's then bounced down into a mix down, and then that single track is mastered to produce a blended togetherness to try and produce the best listening experience possible. In the amateur world of recording in which I live, I follow a similar process, but I do all the recording, mixing and mastering on my computer using a digital audio workstation, a DAW known as a DAW, and the DAW that I use is Logic Pro in Apple. I take my demo and I sing the vocal, which I then use as a guide vocal for another singer. I record all the instruments, and when now I've got all those individual tracks in Logic, I mix each track and then bounce down to a mix down and then master again to try and produce the best possible listening experience that I can get. Or at least that's how I used to do it. Now I hand over a lot of the heavy lifting of production to AI. What I'm using is generative AI. These are sound engines which create sounds. I use a virtual vocalist to sing the song. I get virtual session musicians to replay the instrumental parts that I play. I then download those individual tracks from the sound generator into Logic, where I can then mix them, add some additional instrumentation if I wish, add any further effects such as change frequency, add some reverb or echo, and then bounce that down to the mix down and then master that. So here we go. I'm going to create a song. We're going to keep it fairly short. Not too many instruments, guitar, bass, drums, vocals. So the first thing is, what's the song going to be about? What I normally do is I'm going to write a couple of paragraphs, a sort of a story or an outline, and then I'm going to sort of translate that into lyrics, which is the first draft of the song. For the purpose of the video, I'm going to keep it really simple, so we're just going to use a few chords. Common key to playing is A, so there's A major, first chord, fourth chord D, fifth chord E. So I was having a quick think about this, so I thought maybe an intro of fill, which would be something like, and then the verse could be just the A and the D. Few cycles of that, and then to come out of the verse I'll drop to the E, the fifth chord, so we'll go dum diddle bum 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 bum, put a fill in there, and then we'll go into a chorus which is going to just be A, E, D, A. So So that's going to be the song. Well, I've been trying to write some lyrics for this now for a few hours. We're going down to London town, lights and sounds are all around. But that didn't really get anywhere, so then I moved on, and for a while I'd gone somewhere else and I came up with this. I used to be a lonesome guy, but now I know that I can fly. But I thought that was a bit naff. I went back to, if I was going to London to meet somebody. If I knew the answers, I'd love you on a Sunday afternoon. But I don't know the half of it, not even that we're in the month of June. But here we are, I know what I like. Bum 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 bum. Lady fair, lady fair. And I thought, oh, lady fair. So at the moment, it's looking like it's a song called Lady Fair. I'm going to press on. I've got an idea in my head now of what the song's going to be like. I'm going to call it Lady Luck, not Lady Fair. Here we are, I know what I like. I've now got 4 guitar tracks laid down, all slightly different, and this is what the 4 sound when all played together. Well, I'm clearly not a vocalist. What I'm trying to do is produce a guide vocal for the sound generator. So I've recorded myself singing the song 3 times. To each of the tracks, I've added a pitch corrector set to the key of A major to try and get me closer to the notes. When I've got all the tracks in Logic, I'm going to do a really basic mix, and hopefully that's going to be the demo. So let's listen to how that's coming together. Here we go. If I knew the answers, I'd love you on a Sunday afternoon. So that's my demo, and we're now ready to take it to production. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vocal from the demo so that I can use that as a guide vocal in a sound generator. If I knew the answers, I'd love you on a Sunday afternoon. I'm now going to take this latest vocal and use that as a guide in a new song generator.
If I knew the answers, I'd love you on a Sunday afternoon.
You've probably heard a bit of background noise, some white noise. I'm not too bothered about that because I can clean that up when I get to the mixing part. So I'm now going to put the instrumental tracks that I played into the sound generator and let the virtual session players play my parts. Okay, so I've taken the stems from the sound generator, these are the individual instrumental tracks, put them into Logic. So let's see what it sounds like. Here we go. Sounds like a proper track. So there's drums, bass comes in. There are some bits in it, some sort of white noise things. Yeah. I think that's some sort of percussion, but I don't particularly like that. I don't particularly like that, so I'm going to clean that up. So there's a bit of work to be done on this, obviously. Okay, so I've done the mixing. So what we've got now is the mix down track, which is going to be ready for mastering. So the final step is to master the mix down track, which I've done in Logic, and this is the song. Let's have a listen to it all the way through.
If I knew the answers, I love you on a Sunday afternoon. But I don't know the half of it, not even that we're in the month of June. But here we are, I know what I like. Lady luck, lady fair. Lady luck, the answer to my prayer. Lady luck's in my air. When I'm feeling hopeful, it's then I hold you tightly next to me. Remember how you tell me how to look and know it's what I see. And here we are, I know what I like. Lady luck, lady fair. Lady luck, the answer to my prayer. Lady luck's in my air.
Lovely little tune, that.